typed it up and modified it, and then we'll go back to the open up book. Because I think sometimes y'all see everything on one page and y'all just get overwhelmed. So in this first box right here, we're gonna come up with the definition of equivalent ratios, but we're gonna do that later. I'm not gonna give you the definition. We're gonna come up with our own definition. So this is our question. A recipe for 1 batch of cookies calls for 5 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. That's our statement. At your group, you're gonna tell me, everybody at your group, you're gonna discuss this as a group. You need to be able to tell me how many categories I have and what are my categories. So I'm giving you 30 seconds. Talk to your group. How many categories do I have and what are my categories? I don't see you talking. How many categories I have and what are my categories? Five seconds. What? Okay. You need to have one person from each table. I know, I'm calling a person from each table. So I'm calling on who I want to call on. You tell me how many categories I have and what are my categories. And when I go around, I'm telling you yes or no. So I'm not going to say yes, you're correct, no, you're not correct. Everybody ready? Najee, how many categories I have? What are my 3 categories?
Cups.
Mm-hmm. Joshua's trying to help. What does the word start with? What letter does it start with? This one right here? This one you saw me? Teaspoons. So cups, teaspoons, what's my last one? Huh? Vanilla? Okay. Isaiah, what's my category? How many categories do I have?
3.
What are my 3 categories? Y'all shouldn't be discussing it. We had time to discuss it.
It's 2.
What's my 2 categories?
It's flour and vanilla.
Just say it again, I can't hear you.
Flour and vanilla.
Okay. Antonio, how many categories do I have? What are my 3 categories? I can't hear you, honey. Cups, teaspoons, and vanilla. Okay. Dominique, how many categories do I have? Huh? What's your name? How many categories do I have, Dominique? We shouldn't have to guess because I gave y'all time to discuss it in your group. What are my 4 categories? What are the 4 categories? We're looking at this. We're not looking at the chart. I'm looking at this. A recipe for 1 batch of cookies calls for 5 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. What are my categories? You said 5 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of vanilla? Okay. So I heard 2 categories, I heard 3 categories, I heard 4 categories. A recipe for 1 batch of cookies. What are we trying to make? What are we trying to make? trying to make?
Cookies.
We're trying to make cookies. You ever made cookies before? Okay, so we're trying to make cookies. How many batches of cookies do I need? How many batches of cookies do I need?
One.
I'm going to read the sentence and then y'all going to read it. A recipe for 1 batch of cookies calls for 5 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. On the count of 3, y'all going to read it. 1, 2, 3.
A recipe for 1 batch of cookies calls for 5 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of vanilla.
We're going to do that again because everybody's not reading. So you either read as a group or you read by yourself. So I'm going to read it again. A recipe for 1 batch of cookies calls for 5 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Go.
A recipe for 1 batch of cookies calls for 5 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of vanilla.
How many batches of cookies am I trying to make?
1.
Show of fingers. How many batches of cookies I'm trying to make? Donzel, you looking around at everybody else and you have 5 of them. How many batches of cookies do I need to make? 1. So I need 1 batch of cookies. Right? So we're in the kitchen. Right now, we're in the kitchen and we're about to make some cookies. We're trying to make 1 batch of cookies. What do I need to make 1 batch of cookies?
5 cups of flour.
I need 5 cups of flour. What else do I need?
2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of vanilla.
Of vanilla. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So what was interesting to me was that some of y'all told me cups was a category, but it says cups of flour. So you didn't use flour, you just told me cups. But then you told me teaspoons, and then you told me vanilla. So what goes together? What kind of flour? How am I going to measure my flour? In what?
Cup.
In a measuring cup, right? But I need a measuring cup that's going to measure 1 cup. So if you ever cooked before, they have different measurements on it. One might say 1 cup, it might say a half a cup, it might say 3/4 cup. We need 1 cup. So I need the one that says 1 cup, and how many of those cups do I need? 5. And then teaspoons of vanilla. Y'all know what vanilla is?
Yes.
What's vanilla? Not vanilla ice cream.
It's like some liquid in a clear bottle. And
Yeah, it's like a brownish liquid, it gives a flavor. So I need 2 teaspoons of that. So every time I want to make 1 batch of cookies, I have to have 5 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I have to. Right? If I don't have the cups of flour, the 5 cups of flour and the 2 teaspoons of vanilla, then my cookies are not going to come out right. So every time I want 1 batch, I have to have what? What do I have to have?
5 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of vanilla.
Okay, so we're going to start with our batches. So the first thing I need is 5 cups of flour. So here we're going to put 5. And of course, you sat here and didn't do nothing again. Why you ask for that? See if you can keep going. How many cups of vanilla, how many teaspoons of vanilla do I need?
2.
So what need a pencil? Why you didn't ask for a pencil? I can't share 1 pencil. So we're gonna do a visual. So Ms. Payne's not a visual person, all right? So I'm gonna show you how to do my visual. This one works for me. I need 5 cups of flour. Since I'm talking about flour, and I need 5 cups, I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my 5 cups of flour. You don't have to do F's. You can draw cups if you want to. I can't draw. Some of y'all like to draw. You draw 5 cups, do whatever you want. For me, I do my 5 F's. It's just easier for me. And then how many, teaspoons of vanilla I need?
2.
2, so I'm just gonna put my 2 beads. It's easy for me, so when I'm taking the test, I can do this. And when I have my 5 cups of flour and my 2 teaspoons of vanilla, how many batches of cookies do I have?
1.
1 batch. Where's your vanilla? You gotta represent the cups of flour and the vanilla. So if you wanna draw cups, that's fine, but you gotta have separate ones. Separated so that you know it's 2 people. So some people are doing squares and rectangles, in circles, that's fine, whatever lets you know. Whichever one you know is gonna use for flour, so if you use a square for flour, that means every time you do a flour, it has to be a square, okay? So, every time I wanna make a batch of cookies, I have to add how many cups of flour?
2.
How many cups of flour? How many cups of flour? Caesar. Huh? Every time I wanna add a batch, how many cups of flour do I need? 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 So I'm gonna keep adding. So if I'm making another batch, and I already got 5 cups of flour, and I wanna add 5 more cups of flour, now how many cups of flour do I have?
10.
Huh? Huh?
10.
Huh?
10.
How many?
10.
How do you know that?
Because 5 plus 5 is 10.
Who doesn't understand how we got 10? How we got 10, Antonio? What did I add? I added 5 and 2. That's what you said? What's 5 plus 2? I told on you because you're not paying attention. Why did I add 5 plus 5, Donzel?
So you can get 10.
Why do I need 10?
You have to add 5 plus 5.
Where does the 5 come from?